Today's video was originally going to be on No Man's Sky, because the patch notes for the new update said that there was a left-handed mode now. It's not for VR. So with that, I ended up bringing this video forward, and I'm very happy I did. Compound is a VR first-person roguelite shooter, with heavy inspiration from classic shooters like the original Doom and Wolfenstein. It is, in my opinion, the most simplistic and easy to pick up shooter game that has joystick locomotion. It is highly optimized and runs consistently great due to the simple pixel art textures and blocky level geometry. The game is well set up for instant play. When you load the game, the first thing you do is use the default pistol to select your headset, locomotion type, and turning setting. After selecting those and hitting start, you are placed into the hub where you are shown the wrist menus. The wrist menu acts as the inventory, map, and options menu. It is simple, unobtrusive, and well made, making it much better than most AAA VR titles that can't seem to move past the big screen menus that are really not that great to look at in VR. Due to the nature of Compound's deceptive simplicity, it doesn't need much of a tutorial. There's a shooting range where you learn how to handle and reload the weapons and can test out the starting gear, and an unlockable practice area to understand the weapons and enemies better as you play. Compound seems to have adopted the philosophy of keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't have a clunky body inventory, and weapons are stored by hitting the B button with the weapon in your hand and swapping by hitting that button again. It took me a few minutes to get used to that, but once I did, it felt pretty good. The locomotion is extremely smooth with no stuttering or weird collision issues. The horizontal level design helps with this too. The default game mode movement feels a little bit slow for my taste, but it's not really designed as a super fast-paced shooter, so it makes sense. I played on medium difficulty for the purpose of this video, and it feels really well balanced. The time to kill is relatively low and keeps the pace of the game up. Headshots seem to be insta-kills on the basic soldier enemies, and overall they're not damage spongy, though the game does get difficult as you move further in. There's a bit of a difficulty spike in level 3 as the game transitions into these very large connected rooms full of enemies, so cover is very important. In the normal mode, you can carry one gun in each hand and store one more in your inventory. Swapping is done by pressing B, as I said earlier. Reloading is done through pressing the trigger button on an empty hand, which spawns a magazine. Then you place the magazine onto or into the gun and press A to ready it. This does have a small, tiny little issue for me because of my left-handedness. I still use the left stick for movement, so I have to take my thumb off the joystick to press A and ready the weapon, which has gotten me killed a couple times. But really that's just a skill issue and I'm not knocking the game for it. As far as I can tell, there's a lot of meaningful weapon variety. Guns are unlocked through progression and completion of milestones. Each one is unique and has its own place in the arsenal, meaning none feel like a reskin of each other. So far, I have the default pistols, SMG, double barrel shotgun, blast pistol, sniper rifle, and assault rifle unlocked. They are all immensely satisfying and fun to use. Ammo is plentiful. So far, I have not run out of ammo for a weapon while playing. It's randomly dropped from enemies as you kill them, and the two default pistols are infinite. You spawn into the campaign with no weapons, but every room has a case with an emergency firearm that has one of the two starter pistols. One is a laser pistol that reminds me a lot of Doom 2016's pistol, and a short-range 3-shot scattergun. Further weapons are random drops from enemies as you kill them, and they pull from the pool of unlocked weapons. The enemies are cool and unique and fit the style of the game. There's basic soldiers that have various guns to use on you, drones that are a pain in the ass to hit, and other little robots that have higher damage and resistance. But the most interesting one I've encountered so far is the little spider crab bot thing that has a force field, jumps at you, and sounds a lot like the turrets from Portal. It is terrifying. As I said earlier, the enemies are not bullet spongy, which I appreciate so much. Instead, their strength comes in numbers and the storm of bullets they fire at you. There do also seem to be boss battles. I so far have only fought the first one, which is named Booster Bruce, who has a jetpack, an SMG, and a lot more health than the normal enemies. The first time I fought him, I was not expecting it, so I died pretty much instantly. What the fuck? The subsequent time was not a challenge, but I'm guessing it'll escalate as I progress. The level design and art are the biggest indicators of Compound's inspiration. The blocky, pixelated graphics somehow work excellent in VR. Unfortunately, there isn't any verticality in the levels, and for that matter, no jump button. Though I understand why, as this game seems to be aiming for broad accessibility, and a lot of people can't handle jumping in VR due to motion sickness or another problem. The levels are randomly constructed from set rooms, and enemies are randomly placed just as any other roguelite. And there is a convenient map that shows the layout as well as the closest enemy. There seems to be some amount of lore and story going on. There's propaganda posters plastered around the levels, and they're actually pretty entertaining. Kill anyone suspicious, including women, children, and elderly. But I haven't gotten far enough in to really piece anything together though. I imagine the story will become clearer as I continue through the game. The sound design is also phenomenal. The guns have very satisfying firing and reloading sound effects, and there is great audio for enemy hits. The enemy NPCs also have prominent footstep noises, so it's really hard for them to sneak up on you, which I appreciate. The game's progression also feels very natural. As a roguelite, you get a little bit better every time you go through the gauntlet. You also unlock new weapons and play modes to make the game more interesting. I already spoke about unlocking the new weapons, but there's also these little things called mutagens. The mutagens are in a vending machine style dispenser, and you can only have one active at a time. These change up the mechanics to add gameplay variety. By default, there are 3 unlocked. The first is the Old Schooler, which makes the game work like classic Doom, allowing you to move a bit faster and you hold more weapons in your inventory. This is my favorite because I like having the whole arsenal at my disposal. The second is Extra Arms, which adds an auto reload to the gun so you don't have to manually reload, but it is slightly slower than a practiced manual. If you use cover right, this makes the game quite easy. And the third is People Populator, which spawns more enemies per room, but the enemies have reduced health. Very fast paced and fun mode for a quick time to kill. There are more that are unlockable through milestones, and I have no idea what they might be, but I'm excited to see them as I play. And that's all I have to say right now on Compound. It is a super fun game, and I will definitely be streaming it a few times in the near future. Hopefully as I progress, there will be more lore that I can read into, because I'm honestly super interested. By the time this video comes out, I should have finished putting together the Discord server for the channel. If I have, the link will be in the description to join. So there you have it. Compound. Great little VR shooter. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, stick around, maybe subscribe so you can be around when I stream it. Regardless, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.